We got 6 people waiting.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? You are live with the Toe Bugs and special guest Lucas White. What's going on, guys?
Hey, man. Hey, Nick or Jeremy and Lucas. How are we doing today? I'm doing all right.
Doing
Doing
real good.
good.
Thanks for having me.
Like what, man? I'm glad you're here. I'm glad it was as easy as just asking you, and you were like, "Yes."
Yep.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Most guys
What
are
else
pretty
you want
cool,
to know?
but I think you were definitely. Nick asked me this. He's like, "Any ideas?" And I was like, "Lucas."
Well, I
Right?
figured,
It was like a few minutes later, and I already started the group chat.
yeah.
I'm
I
always
figured we'd
watching
talk
them
about
anyway,
Luke
so I might as
Casey.
well join in.
Yeah. I figured we'd talk about Luke Casey's, but I was like, we have anything specific? And then you brought up the Red Wings, and I was like, oh, yeah, Lucas is a big Red Wing guy, too.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
could talk about any of them really.
that's funny because all three of us are pretty much, are well aware of Red Wings.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our viewers, I'm sure most of them do, but I'm sure there's plenty of viewers that are not too familiar with Red Wings and their history and everything like that. Hey, Malin. Hey, Carol. Hey, Corey. How are you, man?
Hey, Carol, since Lucas is live tonight, you're going to have to be the resident fact checker.
Yeah, have your Google search bar ready.
I can't quite decide whether that's a good title or not.
Hey, thank you, Carol. I figured since Angel wears his badass hat all the time, I might as well show up with one myself.
Yes.
I'm telling everybody hi, even though I can't see any chat right now. So if you got questions, the boys can throw them to me. So.
Absolutely.
How'd the office renovation turn out?
It was actually more than just the office. It was so what happened is we got new flooring throughout the house except for the bedrooms like 6 months ago. And then a few months later, we decided to go ahead and do the bedrooms as well. And there was just, when they did the bedroom portion, they just really screwed up tons of stuff. And so we had to have them come out and fix it. And they only have one guy that's the fixer, right? And this dude, he does a really good job, but he'd show up at like noon and work till 3, and so like a 2 or 3 day job turned into a week and a half, and it was just ridiculous. But
Right, and you're too far in to really kick them to the curb.
yeah, that's like my wife was like, man, I want to go off on this guy so bad. And I was like, I do too, but don't, because he may not show up for another 6 months.
Yeah. He's like looking at you guys. Oh, you got something to say? You guys have something to say?
What's going on with my webcam here?
He starts jingling his truck keys. He's like,
Yeah, I was just like, we can't piss him off at this point.
Well, you got it all taken care of though, so
Yeah, it's all taken care of, and it seems to be done right this time. So
Good.
Hats and beards. Hats and beards today.
yeah,
I guess so, Malin. I guess so.
I
This is
guess
like
I could grab my Western hats back here, but
I kept
I
kept
didn't have them
wanting
on
to
today.
shave, but I was just so like, ugh.
yeah. I had to clean mine up this morning. I was like, I don't want to go live on YouTube with a big old neck beard hanging
Yeah,
out.
so I got the computer up here so you can't see underneath.
Yeah, I used to. A couple of years ago, I grew my beard out like, it was like this long.
Oh
And,
man,
it was
I've had mine out a
I didn't have to
few
shave.
inches, but it irritates my face like when I'm trying to sleep. That's the only time it's bothering is when I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
What's everybody else up to? What do you got? What are you guys up to this week, viewers? Carol, how's the weather up there? We had a high of 82 today in Arizona. Oh my goodness.
Really?
Dude, I
Jeez.
was sweating. I had to have the fan on. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I went to lunch with my wife, and it was pretty chilly. I say chilly. It was in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
But I don't like wearing coats. I usually just wear a vest. So it was a little chilly, but when I went out and checked the mail when we got home, it had warmed up quite a bit. It was probably mid 60s.
Yeah. Funky.
Yeah, it's always cold here.
Yeah.
Do you guys have snow still coming in right now? Are you guys that nor'easter?
It's not snowing at the moment, but I mean, I got a solid 2 to 3 feet in my yard.
Wow.
right now, but I'm sure we'll get it here pretty soon. It doesn't really stop until, end of March. We still got snow middle of April usually, barring a couple of warm years. But yeah, I'm always waiting to get back on the golf course. Really, is that's what I wait on. So
gonna have to wait a bit, I guess.
I used to play a lot of golf, but I've kind of retired from it.
yeah,
My feet hurt too bad after 18
That's
holes.
what I did really, and I mean, I was a golf pro until we had our kid. So now I stay home with her.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So
Blake Baker was a golf pro too.
yeah, he was. I think in action, I'm more the teaching side, not the playing on TV side.
Right.
But
yeah. I know he played all through college and everything.
right.
All right, so you want to start with Lucchese's or Redwings? Or Tecovas Banderas?
I mean, you tell me, boss.
Oh,
Good.
yeah. You know what? Since it's only one boot, let's get the low down dirty on your Banderas, man. You like them?
You know what, though? We haven't asked what boots we're wearing right now.
Yeah.
We always forget that.
Oh, my gosh. We did forget last week, didn't we? Ruhos.
I'm wearing my Ruho Caymans.
Okay.
The Chisos Rough Outs.
My number 5s. And they're, again, you see this denim? It's like
You got the
you can see
Crockings
the
on.
previous denim was like a more taper opening.
Yeah.
True straight sit so much lower.
That's some good crocking.
Like racing stripes.
Yeah, and I'm no way getting my foot up there, but
I practiced.
I'll take them off.
I was gonna take them off, but I was like, nah.
There it is.
As we're talking
Banderas.
about them, I had these on today.
Yeah, I saw your post.
Yeah.
All right, man. So
Yeah, I mean, you can see by most of my posts, I'm pretty brand loyal, really. I like my Lucchese's, and it's not just because of their name. I mean, I took maybe 10 years trying different brands, and my dad always wore Lucchese, and I don't know, something just about the fit, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's my biggest thing is if you find a brand that fits right, that's more important than anything, in my opinion.
That's how I
and to each their own. Everybody's, I don't know, they call them brand snob or whatever you want. It doesn't really bother me at all. I mean, when I find a brand that I like and a size that I like, I'll just buy all kinds of different stuff in that exact one.
Right.
And I got a toe shape I like from Lucchese with the 7 toe.
Yeah. And it's like, Lucchese offers.
On kit.
Yeah. I mean, Lucchese offers every height, every toe, every heel you could possibly want, so you can get exactly what you want.
Well, what led me to these Tecovas anyway, get back on those is, up here with our weather, I mean, 6 months out of the year, I'm really, leather soles and exotics kind of got to go away. Now some are going to say, hey, I wear them all the fucking time or whatever,
Yeah.
That's fine. But I like to keep care of mine, even though I wear them. So I had a couple pairs of the Lucchese barn boots, which, they're normal sizing, they're normal skins, but they've got a rubber sole on them.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a stitched down leather midsole, and then they've got a rubber outsole, made more for the ranch style working type. And those were really, those were doing pretty good. I liked them a lot. And then, I don't know, I saw a post for Tecovas, these Banderas, and I mean, they looked pretty nice. What I liked about them was they had more of the cowboy style heel.
Yeah.
You get into the Lucchese barn boots, and it's more of an 1 1/4 roper style.
Right.
Fowler style, whatever you want to call it. But, I saw these, and then to boot, they had the same style and look of leather as my Iron Ranger Copper Rough and Tufts.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is essentially a nubuck
right.
when you get down to it.
Yeah.
So I said, let's pull the trigger on them. So far, 2 weeks in, I've worn them quite a bit, especially outside. They're doing pretty well. My only complaint with them is, if you read on their website, they actually made them with a choice of being worn with the removable insole or without. So underneath that removable insole, they have the standard Tecovas insole, which is the slightly padded leather. And then they have a new removable insole that's polyurethane leather topped. My issue I'm having with that, and it's a nice insole, it's very comfortable, but I'm wondering if, because they made it to wear with either choice, the height on the toe box, I'm wondering if it was actually made to be worn without it, because once you have it in it, it seems like it's almost like a Beckman flat box Redwing.
Oh yeah.
So it seems like it's lower in the toe if you're wearing it with the insole in. So I'm getting a little rub still on the top of my toes.
Okay. That's interesting.
I mean, a couple hours goes by, you really don't notice it, but 6-7 hours down the road, then I start feeling it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will say, even though it says medium round, and I know I'm a 7-toe guy, but I've had medium rounds in the past, this really leans more towards the J toe, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think Tecovas has a pretty narrow medium round.
Yeah.
In my experience.
And I've only tried other Tecovas regular boots a couple times, and I just couldn't get a size and a width that was working good enough for me. It was either too wide, and then I'd go to the next size down, and I wouldn't have enough toe room. But you know what? These are working out really good. I'm kind of kicking the shit out of them outside in the snow and not worrying about it. They've got waterproof seams, so that's buff wool sock on with them.
Nice.
So for up here north, they're working out really good.
Yeah. So that removable insole, I think you said you're wearing them mostly with those in, right?
Yes.
I've noticed that. So if I compare my Rios or Mercedes ropers to my Chizos, obviously very different with the insole. One has an insole, the other one does. The Rios actually does have a thin insole, but it's not quite as thick and built up like the Chizos. It adds quite a nice amount of insulation from the ground, like the cold temperature from the ground. It kind of helps with that transfer of cold into your foot, and that I actually really like. So I'm sure you're experiencing that too.
Which is why I chose to wear them and buy the size to fit with the insole.
Right.
Normally, I'm pretty diehard, and I'm like, I don't like removable insoles.
Yeah.
Even though my Lucchese barn boots have them, but they're made to be worn and worked in and on your feet all the time, and doing chores and up and down. And as much as I do love the traditional insole, when I'm out in the winter now and I'm actually working in them, or I'm going for a hike or doing whatever, I like to have that extra cushion. I'm just running into the not enough room in the toe box right now.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So when you go to order those on the website, because I've heard a lot of people talk about what you said is, which makes sense. You wear a different size with the insole than you would without it. So do they list sizing on the website, for either option, or do you just have to guess?
I didn't notice where they steered you one way or the other.
Okay.
And not being able to really, most of the people that are buying these have quite a few pairs of already Tecovas regular boots.
Right.
So what I've seen on the chats from those people that actually have them they're sizing down a half size.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing too.
Now, again, if that were the case, that would actually put me then in an 11 Tecovas, because I went with a 10.5 Bandera. I wear a 10.5 Lucchese most of the time. My Lucchese barn boots actually are 11s, because they actually have a pretty thick removable insole in those barn boots.
Yeah.
But 10.5 is my tennis shoe size. So, if I was going to tell somebody, at least to start with, if you're going to wear the insole in it, go with your true, tennis shoe size. Now, if I was going to take it out, I would probably have to go down to a 10.
Yeah.
To wear it without it.
Yeah.
Carol's asking about, I think because of what you were saying about the toe box not being quite tall enough, if you think like a half insole would be better, like, going down to the arch kind of thing. But
yeah, it all depends on, I guess, how they can, how good they can do it and taper it, because it is, decently thick,
mm-hmm.
And to me, it would be more of a drop off,
Yeah.
It to me, it would feel weird having nice cushion on the heel and maybe into the arch, but then, a lot less cushion in the ball of the foot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got 1 5/8 inch heel on it. So, if you're used to that style of heel, really you're putting a little bit more pressure on the ball of your foot anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Other than a roper style where you're down low and almost flat.
Yeah.
So,
Seems
I
to
don't
me
think
like
so.
making the toe box taller would be the right thing to do, because even if you decided to size them and wear them without the removable insole, has anybody really ever complained that they had too much room in the toes?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Height wise, yeah, I don't, I don't think so.
You wouldn't want it across, the top of your foot. You'd want that snug, but in the toes, who cares?
Right. Yeah.
I feel like that would bother me.
That's my only complaint with them. As far as the leather holding up, like I said, I've had them completely covered in snow and soaking wet. I haven't conditioned them or protected them or brushed them at all. Even I just bring them in the house and sit them there and let them dry. And you really can't. It's almost like that pull-up feel leather. So you can rub your hand one way. So to me, it's a pretty good skin to be outside.
That's a lot how they look to me. Is like you said, the copper rough and tough with that nubuck. It looks saturated in oil, which is good, especially with that texture from the nubuck. It's so easy to brush off and make it look just new again. So it definitely lends
now
itself.
my absolute favorite part of it would definitely be that Vibram outsole.
Yeah.
That's the reason I went with this versus another pair of barn boots from Lucchese, is strictly because of the Vibram outsole.
Yeah.
The Lucchese outsole is nice, but it's, I don't know where it's imported from, but it's softer and it's more cushiony. But it's not near as durable, in my opinion.
And there's not a leather midsole, is there? Is there a leather midsole?
There does look to be a leather midsole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it does look like it's a leather midsole. I don't know if you can see or not. Probably not, but you got your leather stack, then you got your Vibram, then you've got another piece running up above.
Okay.
That looks all the way around. It looks to be a leather midsole there.
Okay, and it's like a 270 welt.
It is a 270. Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the piping doesn't look too bad. I kind of like that design that they did with the piping on the shaft. Because that's I think that's that's a new piping design that they have for those, right?
It could be. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with the other styles.
Yeah.
Fully leather, smooth inside.
So no cotton, no textile on the inside?
Not at all. No, it's
okay.
leather all the way through.
Nice. That's something else.
And then there's their insole.
Yeah.
You got your polyurethane on the outside, and then they've got it topped with a leather.
Yeah, it looks a lot like a Chiso's insole.
Yeah, except a Chiso's, to me, they said it was a 3-part or a 3-piece.
I believe so, yeah.
And this is, I haven't tried the Chiso's, I haven't seen it, but I don't believe it's going to be as thick as the Chiso's.
Yeah, the Chiso's has, I think it's a pour-on.
It's pretty thick.
Then it's got the neoprene, like your green, like that green. And then it has like those gel or silicone or whatever kind of
gel
heel and ball pads.
Right there. But it's lined with the leather, kind of the same. But yeah, the Chiso's may be a little thicker.
Yeah, it looks to be. If you took out that white piece there that's in the middle, the sandwich between them,
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you took out that, you may be getting closer to what this one is thickness wise.
Carol asks, Lucas, would you consider putting a Vibram sole on a Lucchese instead of buying a Tecovas again? Kind of adds
When
an
I am
extra
ready for a
cost.
resole, when I'm ready for a resole on the 2 pairs that I have, that's what I will go to.
Okay, your barn boots.
Yeah, and I will actually have a leather stack on them as well, because it comes with a it feels more of like honestly like a Nike, like it's got some shock absorption
Yeah.
on the stack on the barn boots.
Okay.
And then it's
I've
got
seen
the
a lot
rubber.
of work boots like that where it's almost like crepe,
Yeah.
the heel's like
So
crepe.
what I
and
don't like
the
about it,
rubber underneath it.
excuse me, what I don't like about that is the look.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell I'm not really wearing a Lucchese cowboy boot, in my opinion.
Right.
Got that, what you should see is a leather stack,
Yeah.
even with the rubber outsole, but then it's lightish gray color, and it just looks wise, it wasn't my thing.
Synthetic looking, right?
Yeah.
So the oh man, I had a question and it was about oh great. Disregard. I'll come back with that.
Okay.
Oh man.
Well, you want to move on to talking about a few Lucchese questions?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
All right, I got one.
All right.
This is not just for Lucchese, but it's for a pair of your Lucchese's.
Okay.
Though you got those alligators that are kind of that suede look or sanded. I'm not sure what they call it. What do they call it?
Giant? You talking about the giant?
Stonewall.
Stonewall. Oh, right. So I've seen that
Stonewall.
from a few different companies. And how do you care for that? I mean, do you put exotic conditioner on those, or do you just leave it alone, or what?
Here's the thing. So, if you really wanted to be safe, I know like Bickmore makes a distressed leather conditioner.
Mm-hmm.
You would almost treat it, if you're going to really worry about it, then treat it as you would nubuck or suede.
Okay.
Because it isn't a finished leather.
Right.
When they throw it in those tumble dryers with those pumice stones,
Right.
it's basically taking that shiny finish off of it.
Right.
Now, what I was told from Lucchese is, and of course it's to buy their own product, but they actually have a protein-based spray lube conditioner.
Okay.
Essentially, to me, it's almost like the Bic or the Scout Exotic spray type, and I have used that on basically every pair except for the brown, the light tan Rodneys, which you may be talking about. But
yeah.
I have a black pair and I have a square toe that I've used. I've used that Lucchese on it, and right at first, the first day after it dries, it does look a little shinier. But once you go outside and you're outside for a day, you get some dust on it, you knock them around a little bit, it seems to come right back.
Okay.
What I will say though is, really if I just brushed them off and I added some either Bickmore Guardmore or some sort of non-silicone water protectant,
right,
like you would a suede or a nubuck, they would be just fine. I'm not wearing them out in the, sloppy mess conditions, working in them every day.
Right.
But yeah, that's how I care for them.
Yeah. I've always been interested in getting a pair, but I just wasn't sure because, so many people, are so scared of them cracking, or splitting.
Yeah.
Which I know alligator's not quite as susceptible to that as like Cayman is, but still, I know my dad had a pair of Lucchese alligators that he bought them. They were too small, so they sat in a box in the closet for 20 years, right? And when I pulled them out, they had cracked in a couple of places, even without wearing them.
Well, while you say that, let me grab a couple and show you a few differences that I've got.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll show you what I would do with them.
Oh, so my question was, or not it wasn't even a question. It was Finoglio boots.
Yeah.
I am looking at their photos. It looks like they have what looks like a crepe sole on the the main part of the sole.
Yeah.
Like a rubber. Like some crepes, they have that like texture on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a leather outsole. So
is it
looks like,
more of a
like it
work
still has
boot
a leather
looking boot,
midsole.
or is it?
What's that?
Is it more of like a working looking boot, or is it just a straight up cowboy boot?
Most Finoglios has whatever their toe shape is. It looks kind of like a 7-toe, a Lucas 7-toe, right? It's maybe a little more blunt, maybe, but yeah, I was looking at their soles and it had a texture to it, almost like a gum rubber, almost something like that. But go ahead, Lucas. What do you got?
So here's the Rodney. It's got more of the smaller Tinga cut working into the side of the flank. There's not a big area between scales.
Right.
So that one, is not necessarily as worrisome as, say, like this Malcolm.
Yeah.
So you see how it's got the big gaps in between.
Yeah.
And
I've got a pair similar.
Those are really soft. So even though I might not condition my whole boot, I will take, a little Bic 4 on my finger, and I'll hit those little tiny gaps right there in between the tiles. Because if it's going to crack, that's where it's going to crack.
Right.
But, even my, I've got some black ones here that it's kind of almost in between. So it's bigger tiles.
Yeah, yep. Those are the ones that I really like, those black ones.
Yeah, these this is called the Lucchese Burke, and it's actually a made in Mexico boot. So is the Malcolm. It's a made in Mexico Lucchese, and then the Rodney here. I mean, it's a USA made.
The Rodneys are the sharpest ones.
And people will ask me, and I sent these back twice. Brand new. I got one pair in the mail, and everything else I've got is the large tile. And I just wanted something smaller, so I sent them back. I got another pair, exact same size. It was still big. So I finally went, and they started doing the live stream, like you can chat with people in the store now.
Yeah.
So you can do a video chat, and somebody actually found me, that had the smaller cut on it.
Yeah.
Just because, I just wanted to mix it up a little bit, and I already had a couple big giant tiles, and, I wanted that smaller look too.
Yeah.
So the tiles on those Rodneys, does that have it looks like they have like a nubuck texture to those tiles. How is it?
If you felt it, it was almost like a baby's butt. Like, I mean, it's
like velvet.
It's smooth. When it goes through those tumbler dryers with the pumice stones.
Yeah.
If you've ever, even on your feet or something, people throw a pumice stone on their foot, to rub the callus off. That's essentially what it does to that gator.
Wow.
So yeah, it does feel. I mean, it feels super smooth.
Wow, that's cool.
Hey,
and they feel that way on the inside too.
Carol said something interesting. She said Jose at Yeehaw Cowboy was showing a pair similar to those, and he conditioned them, and it turned them darker. And she said after that, he took some 80 grit sandpaper and sanded them down to get the faded color back.
Yeah, I saw that video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
To do that.
Yeah, that's what you're into. I mean, he owns a boot company, so he could probably, spare to mess up if he does.
Right.
Yeah, if he screwed them up, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
I did a YouTube video. One of my earlier YouTube videos, I had a pair of Iron Rangers, and they were the rough out, the 81 16s, and just the Hawthorne rough outs. And actually, no, these are the 45 80 ones, I believe, which is like the earlier model of the 81 16s.
Okay.
They had instead of the chrome hardware, they had, or the nickel hardware, they had just like an old brass hardware, like tarnished brass, and with the nitro cork. So I like those. And I got them on eBay, and they were made in 2008. So they were sitting in a box for a long time, and I got them in 2016 17, I believe. So they have been sitting there for almost 10 years, and they had, you know how rough out can it almost like shines up a little bit in certain areas, like say your toe, like the tip of your toe, or like the
Oh, yeah.
heel.
Yeah, when it starts to
Where
lay
there's like
down and get
light abrasion or light friction. Those they came in the box like that. Like you could see it was a brand new boot, never worn, but it had like the tip of the toes and like the heels were doing that. So I made a YouTube video where I took a steel wire bristle brush, and I kind of just agitated the follicles to make it look like it was a brand new boot. And some people, I still get comments. I had a comment like a few weeks ago. Oh man, you're destroying that boot. And I'm like, hey man, I'm not going at it too crazy. I understand what you guys are saying, but I'm not destroying the boots.
right.
Yeah, but you're definitely not destroying it, because I mean, a suede kit comes with a stiff bristle brush to begin with.
Right.
And I've got 1,000 people that have told me they use the brass bristle brushes anyway.
Yeah. As
you
long
know,
as you're not digging into it or anything,
Yeah,
you'll be
yeah,
fine.
you're just
Right,
rubbing
right.
it, and you're just
Exactly.
standing it back up is really all you're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not.
I mean, hell, with hats now, they sell the blocks. It's like it's like the Scotch Brite pad almost, and and it shaves off hairs off your hat, but you're not supposed to get in there and really bear down on it.
Stains. Oh, you see that stain right there?
Yeah.
I don't even know how I got it, but oh well. I know probably be some brush action to get that stuff off.
Yeah, and if you got a little suede eraser bar,
Yeah.
that'll work well on that.
Okay. What's up, Wes? How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Okay, so we got let's see. So Lucas, I wanted to ask you about sizing with Lucas. So first off, with Redwings, I definitely related to you, because that's the reason why I had 15, 16, 17 pairs of Redwings, is because I understood the size, and I understand that you get a consistent quality, level of quality, so you know what you're going to get. And so I understand it. So Lucas, would you size them? I guess I try to compare everything mostly to Tecovas, because more people know what a Tecova sizing is, on a general basis. But on how would you say a Lucas fits? Do they fit more narrow, more wide? Long, short?
I don't know if I say the perfect fit. Does that do anything for you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I mean,
But
to be completely honest with you, like I said, I don't really have a good grasp of Tecovas. I tried I tried their 10.5, and it was just a little too big widthwise. And then I went to the 10D, and it fit widthwise, but my toes were jamming. So here's how, I guess, if I have to throw numbers out there, if you give me an Adidas or a Nike, going to the gym shoe, I'm wearing a 10.5 all day.
So let's use Red Wing.
Let's
use Red Wing then, like a mock toe versus round toe. How about that?
Okay. So in Red Wing, my 23 last, which is your mock toe, I go to a 10D. So essentially, I would be a half size down from my tennis shoe size. When I go to the 8 last, which is the Iron Ranger or the round toes or the Beckmans, I go to a 9.5D.
A whole size, okay.
Just because it's not quite as narrow as the 23 last. Mm-hmm. Now my toes are pretty close to the end of that boot on the 9.5, but if, as you know, and people that have worn them, I mean, you get 2 or 3 months into those things and they stretch out, pretty good.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way.
So when I go back to Lucchese, if I'm getting a Lucchese Classic and it's the top of the line and it's got the hard leather insole, I'm going to a 10D. So I'm wearing basically my mock toe size in Red Wing talk.
Okay. All right.
If I'm wearing any of my other styles, which are just basically Lucchese Bootmaker, which is the new line, or an 1883, I'm wearing a 10.5 because it's got that slightly cushioned, non-removable, but slightly cushioned insole in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
And when I go to the 10, I still have room, but my arch is off just a little bit.
Okay.
Now, again, with that said, we're talking about a hand-lasted boot, so I do have a few of the styles back here that are the Lucchese Bootmaker, and they're a 10D and they fit perfect. All of my rough outs are 10Ds and they fit perfect. Now, whether that's just because of the skin or the hide and it's not as tight versus, a lizard or, I don't own Cayman. That's just not my thing. But yeah, if I'm talking Lucchese Classic and I'm a hard leather insole and there's no padding whatsoever, I'm a 10D.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, let's go a step further and let's say the Mexico made. Any of my Mexico lines, which I have 3 pairs that are Mexico line, I have to size up from what I do from a Classic, which puts me actually into the Bootmaker style of a 10.5.
Gotcha. Okay.
Even though 2 of my Mexico styles have hard leather insoles, not a padded, I still had to go to a 10.5 just because either they pull it tighter in the lasting process or maybe because of what we talked about earlier with their sizing.
Yeah.
They seem to actually be a little bit tight to me versus a normal USA made Lucchese.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's funny. So, CJ Cook? Okay. Him and I, we on a kind of regular basis, we'll message each other and he's asked me, he got those Python Billy gun smokes. He messaged me asking me like, hey, how do you size in these? And him and I, because he started doing it on his videos, was like, oh, I size the same as my mock toes, or I size my same as my round toes. And so I told him, I said, same as the mock toe, 11 and a half for me, which is, I don't know, I think a 10 for him, whereas a round toe is a 9.5 for him. And so, but yeah,
he's actually more of because he puts a lot of his boots up for sale recently. I've been checking and see what he's got, and 9Es and some 8.5 Es. So it seems to be 9D or 9E is his mock toe size. He does have 1 pair of round toe 9.5s that would fit me, but they're that glass black, and it's not. You might as well wear those with a tuxedo like that. I mean, those things you can see your reflection in them.
Polished, right? High polished.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been on that website to see what he's got. I know he's got a few good nuggets in there.
He did, yeah.
He's probably sold a bunch by now.
That dude's got a shitload of boots.
Yeah, the 8-inch like mine, except I got the copper rough and tough, but he's got. I'd like to have those, but they're just too small. He did a full resole on them. I think he's got them listed like $800.
Yeah, man. Oh, I saw a pair of those.
He's probably got $200. And
I found a pair of those for like $450 on one of those. There's like 2 or 3 guys out of like Indonesia where they like resell. They get like, I don't know where they are. I don't know where they're getting them, but they'll get like 20 or 10 of the same boot. And he had, I think, the 879s, the Hawthorne rough out.
Yep.
I wanted those for the longest time. And I found this guy that I was talking about, he posted on Instagram and he had my size. I was like, no way. So I DM'd him and he's like, I asked him how much. He was like $450. I was like, that's not bad. That's not a terrible price for brand new. But I didn't go. I think that was right around the time when I got my Billies. And then I took the sandpaper to the Billies.
Right.
It made a lot of people nauseous.
Made them your own.
Yeah. No, a lot of people don't like that, but
oh well.
Fine. That's not how I did it for.
Yeah.
So the Twisted Last, what's the Twisted Last?
Yeah.
Carol asked.
it's just their proprietary name. It's the Twisted Cone last is basically, their last that they came up with, however long ago. I don't know the specifics on it. I don't know that it's really even anything just extraordinary. Other than that's just what they're calling their last, and they.
So they only use one last. Is that it? They only have like one
correct.
Proprietary last,
unless you're getting full custom,
gotcha.
and then they'll make it to your foot.
Gotcha.
But they're every day. Hey, I'm going to sell these, or we're putting these out. Even classics lines that you don't go get measured for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the last is going to be.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But again, to me, I wouldn't say I've got a slender foot, but I've got, an athletic style, I guess. It's, not a high arch, but it's between a medium and a high. Pretty basic width wise. So, like I said, they fit like a glove, compared to other brands. I know the one, I can't remember if it's Justin or Dan Post, but they've got whatever they call their last, the comb last, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And that's more of a low instep type last.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So if you've got low insteps and, essentially a little flatter foot, possibly with, like I said, your instep being low, you may want to look into the comb, COMB, like a honeycomb comb last, because I know that's a low instep last.
Okay.
Which again doesn't really work for me. I start to hurt right on top of the vamp.
Yeah. See, that's where I'm screwed. Is my left foot has a high instep, and then I have a collapsed arch on my right foot, which makes it a real flat low instep. Yeah, so I gotta get a happy medium between the two.
I'll never forget that. I kind of feel bad. It was like one of your first reviews or something that I checked out. I commented on there like, hey, that right boot looks like it's smashing down on the end, on the inside of the boot. And you're like, no, that's my bad.
That's my stupid foot's fault.
I was like, man, it looks too big. Like, it just,
man, that boot looks weird. Something's messed up with that. I was like, no, that's just my stupid foot.
Oh man. Well, let's have a cheers to good foot health.
All right. Yeah.
For real, man. I know we most of us at like high quality feet or footwear because we like to have comfortable feet, at the end of the day. Yeah. Plus all the aesthetics that come with a nice looking boot.
Yeah.
But I suffer from type 1 diabetes, so I'm huge on like foot health and stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely I've dealt with a little bit of like foot, like being like temporary foot changes. I've had, when I was in high school, I sustained an injury and I had probably 10 pairs of like Nikes and Jordans. I had to throw all of them out because my right foot grew about 1/4 of an inch. And I was always like the last size. So all my sneakers fit super tight. Mm-hmm. So my right foot grew by 1/4 of an inch. Nothing fit me. So,
damn.
But everything's back to normal now. But I remember that happening. It's like,
if I'd had to toss out my J's back in high school, man, I'd have been dying, dude.
We didn't have eBay and that stuff either. Yeah. So it was like I gave them to friends. I had a few people buy some, but the other stuff that was kind of like, I ended up throwing it out because I really didn't have the energy or the effort to like go find people that wanted them.
You didn't back then.
Well, I'll tell you something weird. I lost a bunch of weight over the last year and a half, I guess. And when you do that, your feet shrink. I don't know if it's because all the weight was flattening them out, but I went from a 12 double E to an 11D. From losing a bunch of weight.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to do a video on that here in the future. But
yeah, definitely.
I mean, I never would have guessed that, and I kept thinking, man, why are all my boots and shoes floppy all of a sudden?
Yeah, and it's not like your foot got shorter. It just
right, and it was
laid out, and it's coming back instead of being, you know.
Yeah, and the bad part is it's progressive, you know. So it's like I was like, you know, I was wearing big old clown shoes for a while because I didn't want to buy all new shoes. And then I decided, yeah, I'm just gonna have to do that. You know,
Right.
it's kind of
Now
like losing weight. You know, all my shirts were too big because I got tired of buying new clothes all the time. You know.
yeah, yeah. Sort of the best part and the worst part, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but it
Yeah.
was bad because luckily, you know, at that time I wasn't doing the channel, and so I didn't have near as many pairs of boots as I do now.
Right.
So, but still, I mean, I hated having to. I sold most of them, you know, and gave a couple away, and you don't ever want to do that. You know, I had 5 or 6 pair.
It'd be super fun to get a whole new wardrobe and a whole new set of boots, but man, I'd hate to get rid of some of the ones I got.
Yeah, yeah, and spending the money wasn't real fun either.
Yeah. I know that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a good question. Lucas, how old were you when you bought your first pair of cowboy boots?
Me personally bought?
Yeah, for yourself, like with your own money.
Oh, geez, you're talking 30,000 right now. Probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I remember mom buying me some. God knows where she got them, Sears or something. You know,
Yeah.
back in you know, junior high type early days.
What kind of boot was it? Do you remember that much about it?
It was a brown round toe, but you know, medium round. But I couldn't tell you what brand or you know.
Did it take you some time to really nail your size down, or were those pretty much the same size that you kind of stuck through?
Oh no. You know, you're talking junior high. I mean, I'm still growing. It was, you know, mom bought them and they probably lasted a year and then I was already out of them.
Gotcha.
You know, and then the fad back then, it was, you know, then I was more always into the Jordans and, you know, high school sports. And, you know, then, you know, again, my dad he's got 35, 40 pairs of Lucchese's. So it's like I always knew. And the good thing is now that we're the exact same size now. So
Nice.
That collection will eventually be mine. God forbid that day come. But so, you know, it was kind of like at that time you were like not wanting to do what your dad does, you know, but you know, once I got, you know, on my own and grew up a little bit, and then it was more about the quality.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's when it started. Like I said, I always knew Lucchese, that's what he wore, but man, they were expensive.
They are.
So that's when I was started trying, you know, different brands and different styles, different toe shapes.
Of course.
Buy some here and flip them to somebody else. And
yeah,
you know, essentially, you know, eventually I, you know, keyed in on my size and my brand. And, you know, I mean, it's a little crazy since then, but.
Yeah, I've got 3 boys and 1 daughter, and you know, every once in a while I'll try to bring the conversation up because I think it'd be cool to have all my boys in the backyard working with me, and we all got cowboy boots on, right?
Yeah.
And my younger 2, obviously my 2-year-old, he wears whatever we get him, right? But I got him a pair of square toes a couple weeks ago. He seems to like them. Easy on, easy off. The 10-year-old, and he's down for whatever. Like he loves dad, whatever dad's doing. And so he'll try mine on, and I'm like, hey, do you want a pair? He's like, yeah. My 15-year-old though, he's gonna take some real convincing to kind of, you know, he's got to be convinced that it's cool.
That's a tough age right there.
Yeah. So right now he's got his Vans. It's just Vans. He's got a few pairs of Nikes, but one time we were talking about the baby's new pair of boots and how my 10-year-old also would like a pair. And, you know, we kind of shifted attention to him, and I'm like, hey, do you want a pair too? Maybe I should just go and get a pair for everybody. He's like, yeah, but you could tell like that the gear was moving, and like he's starting to consider it now. So
yeah, and you know, the only thing I would, you know, add to that, and again, I've got a 3-year-old daughter, so eventually she's going to be there too. But you know, when they're at maybe that age, you know, money wise, it might be tough to get them into actually a good pair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Have the resources to flip sizes and know, You know, I mean, they could be out of them in a 6-month period. You never know with boys. I mean, at that age.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so
Absolutely.
I'd hate for them to kind of get a bad feel for them if they didn't quite fit right. Kind of turn them
Yeah.
off.
Well,
You know,
luckily we
especially
have all these.
tennis shoes.
Yeah, luckily we have all these avenues where we can get into cowboy boots for a very good price. You know, with
Yeah.
eBay, Poshmark, and everything
Yeah,
else
now we do. Right.
available to us. So I will definitely be doing that. You know,
Yeah.
like my son, he's tried on a few pairs of my Redwings. He's finally growing into the size 11, which is my round toe size. So I gave him a pair of the mock toes, which were 11 and a half. Say about a year and a half ago. They're huge on him, so big. But he's grown so much in such a short amount of time. I'm sure those would even fit him now. But so I might let him try on one of mine pretty soon. But he's just so like he's not convinced. I could tell he's not convinced yet.
No, he'll let you know.
Yeah. I got to massage the idea into his brain to kind of get him to be okay with it and accept it. Hey man, your dad's wearing cowboy boots. Yeah. So.
Yeah, when I was growing up, it wasn't hard because, well, for one, I'm in Texas and everybody wears boots. But, you know, I went at junior high and high school in the 90s, and that's when, you know, the entire nation was boot scooting and everything. And you go to Macy's and they had Wranglers and Western shirts and stuff. So that helped that it was in style, you know, at the time, more so than just average Texan wearing, you know, boots and jeans.
Right.
But the bad part was it was all cheap Justin Ropers. And man, that's what was in style, so that's what everybody wore, you know, but man, I hated those things.
Yeah. It's crazy though, because like knowledge is power, right? That's how I see it. Before we knew like what a quality pair of shoes were,
yeah,
we would just be dealing with like, oh, they're just not my size.
Yeah.
Whereas, well, no, those shoes you're wearing are lacking proper arch support for your foot, you know? And we talked about this in, I think, the first episode. It was like, I was going to the department stores with my wife after work, you know, it's 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night. And I was on my feet all day and in not the best kind of footwear. And my feet are just crying in the shoe, when I'm pushing the grocery cart and I'm like leaning on the grocery cart. I'm like, can we just go? Yeah, that's fine. Let's just go. But, you know, now once you find a good quality, you know, you understand what a good quality pair of boots is, or footwear in general, just any footwear. And you understand what kind of construction you need to make your feet happy. I don't experience that anymore. So, but yeah, like you said, like with the cheap Justins, I mean, it was all aesthetic. It's like what you're looking at. You didn't really
you know, and
like,
Justin made nice ones back then too. It's just, you know, especially us kids were buying the ones that were $69 and it just wasn't a good boot, you know.
And also youth also lends you to just put it on whatever, you know.
Yeah.
My friends and I, we used to trade sneakers, you know, we'd trade Jordans.
Yeah.
And there was times where the size was a little too, you know, small for me, but they matched my shirt or my hat or something, and he let me borrow them. So
I
wear them, but I couldn't do that now, you know.
Right. It was
It's
style.
like, oh, these hurt my feet, but wait a minute, the girls like them. So
yeah, I don't even need to tie them, but they look good. And
hey, Lucas, before we move on to Red Wing conversation, Blake Baker messaged me and he said, "Hey, Lucas was a golf pro. Ask him about that." So, which we kind of talked about earlier, but can you just talk a little bit about your career as a golf pro?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me just preface it this way. There's a difference between golf professional,
right,
and professional golfer.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. So I don't know which one Blake was for sure. You know, if he played on tour and stuff, then professional golfer.
Right.
Me, I was, you know, started playing when I was 8 or 9. it wasn't really the cool thing back when I was there. It was baseball, basketball, football.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I played through high school. But always took lessons, always played on the side. Um, then went and got a degree in golf course management, and emphasis on teaching pro and learn the actual golf swing itself. Now, I'm not saying I'm a bad player. I think I'm like a 1.7 right now on my handicap,
Damn.
which people that aren't watching or that are watching that don't know golf won't know what that is. But if you know what golf is, then that's again it's pretty low. But you're talking when you're a pro, like you're watching on TV.
Yeah.
Those guys are like on the opposite spectrum of like +6, 7, and 8.
Right.
Versus me being on the other side as a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
I might shoot anywhere from 69 to 76 on any day versus them shooting they come to my course and they shoot 10 under,
Right.
So
Yeah.
went to school, started working down in Naples, Florida, at a resort called Lely Resort down there. They had 2 different courses. Made my way. I'm from Indiana. So originally, my parents moved up to Michigan, I don't know, way back when. So then I came back up here and got a job. There's a place called Treetops Resort. It's a pretty famous resort. They used to play a par 3 contest that was on TV at Three Tops. It's a par 3 course up here. But it's a resort. They've got 5 courses there. So, I spent most of my time working there. And then after that, I went to Fort Wayne when we moved there for just a little bit. Worked at a country club there. And then eventually we came back up north. My wife's from here and wanted to come back. So that's why I'm up here now. The downside being up here is you get 6, maybe 7 months worth of work.
Yeah.
And then the majority of the people that don't have families, they go back south, for the winter.
Yeah.
And once I had a kid, it was like, nope, got to stay around. And then, once you start deciding what daycare is going to cost and, as much as I wanted to do it, my wife's registered nurse in surgery, and she kind of outranked me on the paycheck. So it was kind of like, okay, I'll stay home.
Yeah.
Which again, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I can always go back and start working again.
Yeah.
One thing you'll easily lose is that time that you're able to spend with your little one.
Right.
That time goes by like that. Oh my goodness.
Like I said, it was really good even before COVID. And once COVID, then it was really like, hey, it's me and you all the time. I mean, we ain't going doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you guys, Texas might be a little different, but man, I tell you, our Michigan governor, she hit us real hard when it all started. We were one of the first ones from the get-go, just shut down everything. Everything's opening back up now, but it's masks. Masks everywhere you go, no matter what.
Yeah.
So, eventually, like I said, the daughter's got some clubs already, so we're swinging in the basement doing stuff, and, we'll have her out there before too long. And, maybe she goes back to school, I'll go back to work or something. But
Nice.
For now, I'll enjoy it.
Right on. All right, so Redwings, man.
Lace ups.
Lay it on me,
shoelaces.
Susie.
What are shoelaces? What are those?
Where do we start?
Well, did you get into Red Wings after cowboy boots? That's what it sounds like to me.
Technically, no. I actually got into them before. Just a real quick family story. When I talk about my dad, who's got 35, 40 plus pairs, I'm talking about my biological dad, who I recently got back. I ended up getting back in contact with him when he was like 13 or 14. But the dad who adopted me and raised me, hardworking telephone company man, ran a telephone company, up in the bucket trucks, fixing lines. So that dude always wore Red Wings, So from growing up as a little tiny kid, I saw him in nothing but Red Wings. And And back then they were the good Redwings. You know, I mean, there wasn't any made in China ones like there is now.
Yeah. The linemen's, did he wear a lot of
He
the
had some linemen's for a while, and then, you know, the last 10 or 12 years of me being at the house, I remember him being in the 202s, which are basically the mock toe style with the super sole. It's a 6-inch. It's got that red color. It's not really oxblood, but it's between the red and the brown. You know, the standard Red Wing color.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, as soon as I could start working construction, that type of thing outdoors, I had Red Wings on. You know, so I had, you know, I've had a couple steel toes in the past that I've, you know, have lasted forever. And I think I've had 2 or 3 of the 202s in my lifetime. And then, you know, I'd say it really wasn't until, you know, and then I got into cowboy boots and it was pretty much over. Even though I still had those to work in and stuff, I'd wear my Red Wings. And then it was probably 2 or 3 years ago, I really started looking back into the Heritage line now. Still didn't really wear them nearly as much as I wear my cowboy boots, but I really had more of the appreciation for the way it was made.
Right.
Now, you know, I mean, you can go way farther and go Nicks like you've got there, you know, or you can go into Westco or Whites or Alden. I mean, you can get way higher levels than Red Wing. But for the price,
absolutely,
they're pretty damn good. And I'm not wearing
friendly.
Yeah, and I'm not wearing them like most people are wearing them. Like, you know, everybody's got that macho, hey, you know, I destroy my Red Wings in 6 months. And no, I'm not doing that. I mean, I wear them out, I dress them up, dress them down. And, you know, especially, you know, in the winter months, which is why I've got, you know, half of my pairs have the Vibram lug sole on them. Because for where I live, those just seem to work the best. I like that more rugged look versus, you know, a Beckman style or, you know, you get into even the grow cord sole. I mean, that I don't really dress up that much, you know, wear khakis or anything to wear, you know, I mean, I'm pretty much a jeans and flannel kind of guy or a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy. But I can still have nice footwear on my feet.
Absolutely. Yeah, I try to find a nice balance in between, because certain, like, okay, so for instance, a mock toe with the wedge sole, it's pretty chunky on your foot, right? You're pretty casual, like you're a relaxed look, you know, sporty even. And I think young even, that's like a young look. Then when you get to even an Iron Ranger is kind of chunky too, because you've got the big toe cap, you know, they're not very low profile. And then you work away maybe to like a Williston or like even the flat box Beckman. That's when you start getting a little too narrow for me anyway, a little too narrow. Soles are a little too thin for me. And, but it's funny because with cowboy boots, I like the medium round toe, but I think the fact that if you get a cowboy heel, it kind of balances out. Like a thicker cowboy heel kind of, you know, adds a little chunk to it. But I like a chunkier sole on my cowboy boots, a little bit chunkier sole. I like a thicker looking sole on my cowboy boots. Some guys like them a lot thinner, a lot more low profile, but not me, not as much.
And you can tell, I don't know if you can see behind me, but right now I think I'm at 6 pairs and 4 of them are mock toes. You know, one of them's one's the Sawmill. It's lined. It's got the Vibram lug sole on it. But I'm one of those laid back, chill guys, you know, up north, and I like you know, that mock toes. Just, you know, that's what I go for. And of course, I've got an Iron Ranger. I got, you know, the Copper Rough and Tough 8085.
Those are my first pair of Iron Rangers
too. Definitely the go-to. Like, I know 8111 is, you know, what they say is the most popular, but nowadays 8085 is pretty darn popular.
It is.
You know, and I wear that anytime I need to really step it up just a little bit for my mock toe, you know. I mean, if I'm going to, you know, dinner or something, I might throw those on here instead of the mock toes. But, you know, and then I just came across the round toe.
The Spitfires
with the lug sole, which I really, you know, as you see from my cowboy post, I really like rough and suedes. So, those are essentially a waxed rough out. And like I said, I'm only 3 or 4 days into those, so they're just now, getting some use. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I like that hard leather insole. Some people put them on and just take them off immediately and say that's the worst, most uncomfortable shoe I've ever put on. But you get 3-4 months into it, man. I mean, it's just like it's like the same where it leaves your imprint of your foot. You just stick it in there and go. But I've really been looking at. I know Nick talked about it. The Picos, didn't that wear those back in the day or something?
Yeah, the 1178, which is like basically like a roper,
Yeah,
like a Vibram type sole.
yeah. And I'd be at the 1175, the nail seat with the cowboy heel.
Yeah.
I like those a little bit more. As you know, as you can see from my posts, I am just not a roper guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm going to
I'm
wear
not
a round
either.
toe with no toe bug at all, I'm going to wear a Redwing.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a roper. It's going to be a lace up.
Yeah.
And,
And I would probably go towards the style with the heel on it more. Except it's like a light color sole. It's more tan color. And I don't know. I just don't like that look personally. I like the dark brown to match the boot.
We know some people that can change that.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So what is a grail boot for you? Just one. You had to, if it was one pair that was in your closet that you don't have already, that you could say, I want this boot and I'd wear it every day because it's one that I don't have yet.
What are we talking? Redwing? Or are we talking
Anything.
Just a holy grail boot, huh?
Probably going to say.
Wait, can I just say all of them?
No, it's definitely going to be, which supposedly they're going to re-release it in fall of 2021, but it will be the Lucchese Western Diamondback.
Yeah.
Natural? What color is it?
It's natural.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can get it.
I like natural.
You can get it custom ordered right now.
Oh yeah.
But then you go and again, I'm not saying I don't have a lot of them, but to spend $2,000 on a boot, I'm just not going to do it. That's just, I'd rather have 6 pairs for that price.
Right.
That are still just as good, in my opinion. Now, people might eat me up for that, but I don't give a shit. It is what it is. But yeah, they're going to come out. They've released it in the past, and now they're waiting on to get a collection of skins to where they can actually put out a run like they do now. And it's still going to probably be up towards the $1,000 range. But that would be the boot I would like to have.
Yeah.
Okay. What color sole? Like a black sole or?
It's a black sole. Yeah. Because the Western Diamondback's got a little bit of that black in it.
Yeah. I like a natural snakeskin. I eventually want to get one pair of even a medium round toe, natural color python with a black sole. I think would be, but I want it to have a nice pattern, a contrast in the pattern. So like dark color, dark colorations with that off-white natural color.
And about a year ago, the closest I could actually see, and my dad does have a pair, El Dorado made a Western Diamondback boot about a year ago. I think it's obviously sold out now or not in production anymore. But you can look it up and see pictures of it. I mean, it's pretty damn good looking. Now, it does have a brown sole, I believe, and a lighter brown shaft. But tell you what, it looks damn good, and he loves it, So if I got to get something to kind of get me by, but as you've already seen, I don't really stray too far from my Lucchese's.
Have you, Lucas? Or even you, Nick? Have you guys heard of Roll Club?
I have not.
Brian, the bootmaker.
Sure.
Okay. Well, check him out. He's got a pretty decent YouTube channel. He makes his own boots. He's a cobbler, so he does the same thing as Snellville. But he has a bit more of a waiting list. Like it's a 2-year wait list for a pair of his boots. And then I think I don't know exactly how long, but for resoles, they're not inexpensive. And I think there is a bit of a wait. CJ might be able to help us if he's still in the chat.
I really dig his
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, he's got a pretty unique style. It's real classic looking. I like it. He's got a nice twist to his own unique style cues and stuff. I don't know though. Like 2 years I don't think the wait bothers me. But then again, I don't know. I think if price wasn't a problem, or not really a problem, but I think I try to stay $500-$600 and below for a pair of boots, because most boots I don't want to like baby and be like, well, these are the, I don't want to baby any of my boots. So.
Yeah. And my biggest issue might be with that is, it doesn't change a lot, but I may see a boot differently in 2 years than I do, right now.
Yeah, that's true.
If I'm going lace up style, a Grail boot, I really like right now. I like that, the English tan, Urban Drifters from Nick's. I like that lug sole. I've really been looking at those a lot, and again, $500 isn't crazy, but
right.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of with you, Lucas, or Angel as well, where it's kind of like my wife wanted to buy a couch that was like an ungodly amount of money, and I'm like, man, I don't want to buy an expensive ass couch because in 3 years it's going to be stained and I want a new one. You know what I mean? And so with boots, it's like, one, if I bought something that was $3,000, I'd be scared to death I was going to scuff it or something. And like you, Angel, it's like I want to wear the damn things. I don't want to.
I don't want to cry if I scuff them.
I don't want to buy a classic car and leave it parked in the garage type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay. So Corey Boyd says his Grail boot is a hand dyed Underdog, which is one of Brian's models. He's got, I think, three or four different models. Underdog is one of his, and it looks kind of like a roofer style boot. I would like to say, like a lace to toe. They're actually really nice because he has a different kind of leather that comes up the side of the vamp. So it'll be like a black boot with like an olive piece of leather that comes up the side of the vamp. I guess for some extra toe box support to kind of keep your foot centered in the sole. That's what it looks like to me. That's how the design looks to me. But I would like a pair of, and I always say it, but natural veg tan leather. I love natural veg tan leather and the way it changes. I had a pair of West Coast engineers that my friend Boot Hunter has right now, but I had them on day one and they looked almost like pink, like pale white pink. And they changed so dramatically. And they're like a dark orange, sunburn color down. I really like that.
Yeah. I agree.
So I think if I were to pay close to $1,000, it'd probably be a nice pair of veg tan cowhide. And I don't know, Lucas is probably like, really? For cowhide, you pay that much? But
I'd probably, if it was me, I'd probably like Lucas said, I've always wanted some Diamondbacks, and sometimes they're just hard to come by. I've even talked to a few, not full custom boot makers, but a few boot makers, and it's just hard for them to get the skins. But I'd love to have a pair of Blackjack Diamondbacks, with a cool inlay on the shaft and stuff. I don't know. Blackjacks look badass to me every time I see a pair.
Well, so is that your closet?
What's that?
Closet? Is that your closet in your bedroom, or?
No, I'm in the basement. That's just kind of like a wet bar cubby hole that I kind of turned into my boot area.
Sweet.
He's got a boot room.
I mean,
Nice.
tucked back in here is floor to ceiling boxes, Daisy and Red Wing boxes. My Stetson hat boxes are back there.
Yeah, my wife's getting pissed at me because the boot boxes are taking over the entire garage. I don't have anywhere to put them.
Man. I've got a few pairs of box. I have a pair of Rios under my workbench. I don't know why it's there. It should be upstairs in my closet, but yeah, my stack is right up to. So you got like the hanger pole, and then the shelf above the hanger pole, and in my closet it goes from one wall to the other, and I've got it's probably up to like 6 foot tall, and I've got the boxes stacked up. I think I have room for one more, but I only have a few pairs at this point. I've really taken down my my collection, my number.
It's a big screen down here, and I hit the wet bar and grab a drink and get into cleaning and polishing and conditioning.
That's the best. Having just a cold one or something, a bottle, a glass of something, TV. I'll sit on the floor in front of the couch and I'll just start cleaning and conditioning stuff and just.
Yeah. The wife being a nurse, she works early, so it's like 7:30. The wife, the daughter, and the dog all go to bed. So it's just like it's man cave heaven. So
human tattooed skin on the vamp. There you go.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Drifter.
Drifter. What's up, Drifter?
Thank you. My wife gets annoyed at me whenever I order new boots, not for the boots, but because I like to keep the boxes.
I mean, you got to keep the boxes. I mean, what happens if you ever wanted to sell them?
She asks me all the time why I'm keeping them, and it's like, I'm not afraid to. I've in the last month, I think I've sold 4 pairs. Like, I don't mind selling some if I see some new ones I want to get.
Yeah, that's how I see.
When you start getting multiple pairs,
there might
certain
be
ones
10 that I really wear.
Yeah, I can only wear so many, so some get lost in the back of the closet from time to time.
Not that I don't wear them, but there's some that I wouldn't mind. So, even though they're pretty close to the same, some of them just fit a little differently than others.
Sure.
And one spot here or there under the heel or something, or or I just my style's different now, and I just don't wear them as much, and other people want to get some use out of them, and I can replace them with something else. So yeah, I know Wes, he was on chat, he just picked up one of my it wasn't a Lucchese, but it was a Corral Cayman, and he loves them, so I'm super pumped.
Did he post those? Didn't he post them up in the group once?
I think so. I want to say I maybe wore them literally not even 5 times.
Yeah. Did you post them, Wes?
So yeah.
If not, get on that.
So 7-toe is your favorite?
All-time favorites, definitely the Lucchese 7-toe.
I really like that. I
do too.
I have more recently, and what I don't really like is the round toe, like roper style. I'm just, for whatever reason, I just don't like it.
That's interesting because I actually like the round. I like the R toes.
Now, a true medium round, I'm starting to get back into. The traditional cowboy toe.
Yeah.
The new R toes to me are just getting a little too wide.
Okay.
And like I said, if I'm going to have a pull on with that round toe, especially a roper with no toe bug on it, I'm just going to get a lace up round toe. That's just what I'm doing. So,
for me, a lot of it.
Dan Post, their R toe is still pretty narrow comparatively.
Oh, okay.
Compared to like Tacovas and Chisos and those brands.
I'm wondering, Tacovas, I want to say there's a slight difference in their roper toe compared to their cowboy toe.
Usually a roper is a little more broad and round.
Right? Because I was looking, and some photos you can kind of see. It looks like it's not as tapered as their others. But then then it gets me at wondering about like their okay, so they have 3 different heel heights. They have their roper heel height, then they have, like the square toes have another heel height, and then their cowboy has the highest heel height.
Yeah.
Um, their side zips have the same heel height as the square toe.
Inch and a quarter.
What's that?
Inch and a quarter.
Inch and a quarter, yeah. And so, but then the toe on the side zips, it looks like it's a. I can't tell if it's a roper toe or if it's right in between the two. Can't really tell. There's something about the side zip. I know I talked to you about them once, and I talked to Nick about it. I don't know, man. I might have to try one. But there's just something about like the criteria that they meet is like it's not their lowest roper heel.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little bit of height. It's only 1.25 inches, but still, it's not quite 1 1/8, not quite an inch. And then the side zip, I don't know. I don't think I've ever had side zip except tactical boots that I use.
And I know that's especially like on Dustin Bowen, who's a Lucchese, sales guy that does customs. 90% of what he's doing right now is all the, short side zip. And I'm not knocking anybody, and everybody can wear whatever the hell they want. But in my opinion, it's definitely more for those more tapered guys who are wearing the more tapered pants, who don't want any, which I'm cool with not seeing the printing. I'm not a fan of, wearing, like somebody posted earlier, wearing the skinny jeans and showing the big shaft through it.
Right.
So I definitely see the purpose of them. It's just, I'm a pretty big dude, and I wear, bigger jeans, and I just am not.
That was one thing I was wondering is like I'm moving into the true straights now. Like I'm not even using the taper fit or like the slim straight even. And I'm actually really comfortable with these. So I was thinking about, I'm like, I really don't even need the side zip. It's just something to the silhouette that kind of keeps drawing my attention toward it.
Right. And like I said, if you're wearing a tapered suit every day, or you're wearing a lot, even if you're wearing skinny jeans or whatever, and you want to rock the boots. I mean, a lot of the musicians nowadays, they're wearing the skinny jeans and rocking those, 7-toe side zip, Diamondbacks and all kinds of stuff he's doing on there on Instagram. But, and there's definitely a need for them too. If you've got, you're a little older, or you've got some back problems or some leg problems where you can't really pull yourself into a boot. The side zip definitely works out good. As far as just being able to get it on.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see that too.
Yeah. Like a high end step, or someone who's even like disabled maybe, or going through like a temporary change with their body. I could definitely see that being a reason why. So. But
to wear those with a cowboy cut jean, it just it doesn't do anything for me,
Right. No, I completely understand that.
Yeah, I don't even, just personal preference. I like a 13-inch shaft on my boots is what I like. And if a 12 is okay, I prefer a 13. And like those Roman boots that I reviewed last week, I really like those, but I think you even commented, Lucas, you're like, man, the shafts look big. And they're not. It's just they're really short. So many boots now are going to like these 11-inch shafts, and it was the same for me when I wore ropers. For whatever reason, with my skinny ass ankles and calves,
self-proclaimed chicken legs.
Yeah, when I have a shorter shaft, my pants fall down in the tops of them, and I hate it.
That's what it was doing, and I was just,
I mean, I fucking hate that. That's why I want a 13-inch shaft.
I was just throwing it out there. Like, to me personally, it wasn't a great look.
Yeah. And it's fine when I stand up, if I pull them down, then they'll stay like that. But if I just stand up and start walking, they'll fall down in there. And I hate that shit.
Yeah, no, I don't have that problem at all because my calves fill them out, and it's sometimes just a little tight too. But,
yeah. And I mean, I get it, and I can understand why people like them shorter, but for me, it's just a taller shaft works better.
Right. And to me, the guys wearing those type of boots are really, your your rodeo guys that are wearing, you know, the full on stacked, you know,
Yeah.
straight leg stacked, and it's stacking big time below
Yeah.
that. You're
Yeah.
not seeing anything above it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, those guys are buying their jeans at least 4 inches longer than and mine stack, you know, but I mean,
Yeah,
some of those guys, it's just,
which is
how do you
cool
walk
though.
around the house when you pull your boots off, man?
I got skinny legs, but I don't have the problem most days, like because the denim I wear most days is actually thicker.
Yeah,
So
you're
it's
wearing a lot.
it
Yeah,
doesn't actually, form to whatever's like underneath. It doesn't print as easily.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
No, you're
but
wearing.
I do have a few pairs of like thinner
Yeah.
denim, and it happens all the time,
Yeah.
especially with these number 5s.
And back when I used to starch my jeans, it didn't happen either. I mean, I used to, way back in the 90s, man, I starched the shit out of them.
Down the middle, you know.
Yeah, and, creased and everything, and they were too damn stiff to fall in the tops. Stand them up in the corner.
Oh shit.
But yeah, you're right. I wear Wrangler cowboy cuts, but they're called Active Flex, so they've got, I don't know, a little bit of spandex or something in there, and they're a lot
Like 1 or
thinner
2% in there.
than a lot of other, straight denim jeans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm running into a jean issue right now too, because I mean, I've got to get like the athletic cut style, like the Levi's 541 I'm in right now. It's normal through the thighs and ass, but then I like it to not be huge down around my foot.
Yeah, like a slight
but
taper.
in all of those that I'm finding right now have a little bit of spandex. Well, if you're a big dude and you're sitting at a chair or something, for a little bit of time and you go to get back up, that stretch doesn't go back.
Right.
It just kind of stays out there, and then it looks like, a big balloon that's just hanging out,
You're
But
reaching back here going, man, I got all kinds of
to,
extra ass hanging down. What's going on?
I can't go to just an original fit, because I mean, I ain't getting them up over my ass. So, and again, I'm not like super fat or anything, but college baseball, I mean, built dude, but I just got, thighs and ass that I'd like to try to find something like, a 16, 17 ounce, selvage like that, could actually fit pretty good.
Yeah, they got so many blends now that you'll definitely be able to find something that kind of fits you
the largest style of the Brave Star. I've been looking at those.
Yeah, when I was looking at that's what I have now is the True Straight Fit in theirs, and that's actually their heaviest denim, so it's like a 25 ounce, really thick. I like it though, but so the reason I don't wear stretch anymore is because I definitely appreciate like the comfort level that comes from it.
Yeah.
But I was experiencing like knee blowouts because for what I used to work at, I was driving like 8 hours, 10 hours of the day. So doing 200 miles a day. And seriously, from the sun beating on my left knee, I had 2 pairs blow out in the same summer. And that's just from the heat that was, affecting the spandex,
Yeah.
And the same thing happens like if you throw them in the dryer often.
Yeah.
The spandex tends to fail. So
yeah.
I think a little bit of spandex is good. I wouldn't go any more than 2% in the blend though, because then you start.
Yeah.
The ones I got are 1%, but it still seems, I don't know. I'm just used to old school where it didn't move at all. I mean, I like the George Strait Wranglers. I just don't like their colors. I mean,
right.
Otherwise, I'd have those.
Yeah, and these definitely don't last as long as other jeans, but for me, well, first of all, I have a really hard time finding jeans that fit, and these fit, and they don't shrink like the original Wrangler 13 MWZ. I mean, I had to buy those 6 sizes too big because of how bad they shrunk the first 2 times I washed them.
Yeah,
that's true. That's unsanforized. So most denim is sanforized. That means they washed it, they put it through a cycle to heat it.
Those are unwashed, anything, you know, which is cool, but it's a guessing game trying to get something that's going to fit after you've washed them twice.
Now, if you washed them in cold and didn't dry them, would they still shrink?
I believe, yes, I've tried that. Now, it wasn't as much, but, I mean, it's just straight up raw denim that hasn't been processed pretty much. And so, anyways, what I was getting at was I like these flex stretch jeans, whatever you want to call them, just because they fit me better and are more comfortable than most of the other brands I've found. I haven't gotten into the selvage denim scene like Angel or bought any of those types. I'd like to try them out, but as far as stuff you're going to get, from a Western wear store or Macy's or J.C. Penney's or anything like that, these just fit me the best, and
Yeah.
sometimes that's all you can do.
Right.
Yeah. It's the same thing though. Like getting into denim, like as far as sizing, getting your sizing right, because
Yeah.
there's so many different fits and different cuts. Finding, like you said, you find one that fits you. That's how it was for me, and that's why I go with Brave Star. There's so many brands, but Brave Star seems to kind of fit my frame, or my size kind of like the best. I got no ass. So a medium to, not too, I don't need too high of a rise. Some guys that are like, I've got a big ass, or, girls even, they need a higher rise. So it really depends. But the True Straight is Brave Star's highest rise. And all the other ones kind of have like a mid rise. So I try to get at least like a 12-inch front rise on mine.
Yeah. And honestly, for quality versus price, and again, I haven't bought any yet, but I've definitely look around, and Brave Star definitely seems to be, I mean, killing everybody.
Yeah, they definitely, because there's a brand called Ironheart, and they're $300 a pair. You can get the same. It could even be the same exact textile, just obviously sewn in a different factory here in the U.S. And they're a third of the price, $98. So, or $110.
Yeah. I just don't. Right now I don't have the patience for them. I mean, I got a toddler running around, and it's like, we got lighter colored carpet. I don't need it bleeding on my carpet.
Oh yeah.
I'm cool with crocking on a boot every now and then, but I'm not trying to put it through all that, and then
Wife bitching at you because you turned the couch blue.
right. I'm out sweating up a storm, and I'm not supposed to wash them but once a year. No, that ain't. No.
That's not true. You can wash them more often than that. You can wash them every 6 months.
yeah, every 6 months for about a 4-hour process.
No, you can wash your denim as often as you like, really, but it is for that, like when you want to go for the really deep contrast fades,
right,
that's when you wait longer to wash. But
I know my grandfather on my dad's side, he was a ranch hand growing up, right? Now, this was way back when, but he wore Levi's 501s, with his cowboy boots, and he would only wash them like every 6 months. And to wash them, he'd hang them up on a clothesline and just hose them down with a water hose, and didn't use soap or anything, and then just let them air dry. Because he wanted them dark blue, from the first day to the last day.
Nice. There's nothing like just a nice pair of denim, like denim pants. Oh, there's just nothing like it. The look that you get from it. There's something about just blue jeans and boots.
Yeah.
And just like a plain white tee, even just
Yeah.
that look right there is just, it's classic. It's simple, but it also is durable, gets the job done. And, that's, Carol asked me if I get hot in my selvage denim. I would say like a thicker weight, like the ones I tend to wear, it's warmer. I have a pair of the 21.5 ounce, which is pretty thick. And I also had the matching jacket. The winter here was like hardly ever cold enough for me to even wear that jacket all day. So it'd be like the drive to work. By 10 o'clock, the thing's off already, So it's Selvage denim it's not much different from most denims. The tighter weave is gonna make it less breathable. A looser weave, obviously, like you do with like a linen shirt, or it's gonna breathe more. So the heavier weight actually tends to be a little bit looser weave, so it doesn't do a terrible job breathing during the summer. So, for shirts, shirts definitely can constrict you because obviously you have more heat on the upper body. But as far as pants, I could easily go through a whole summer wearing jeans every day. So yeah, not too hot, Carol. Not too hot. They're bearable. But then again, that's me. I wear long sleeve denim shirts all summer. So take it for what you will.
Hey, what's up, Jeremiah?
What was he
How you
here?
doing, buddy?
Oh, there you are.
JC?
Yo.
Hey, CJ Cook said never throw your selvage in the dryer.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing with that's exactly right. And that's why there's a lot of failure points with heat, a dry heat, with any textile really, obviously it'll shrink more, but the thread, it won't last as long. So
Yeah,
right.
From what I've heard, most people don't even like throw them in the washing machine just because it's going to give them some pretty crazy fades or.
Yeah, that too. Because like if you ever take a pair, if you ever take a pair of denim out of the wash, you always get the little crinkling and stuff like that. And depending on who you are, there's a theory that it messes up the fade points, like your pocket points or your cell phone fade and your wallet fade. It'll
not to mention you probably got to wash them by themselves.
Yeah, I wash mine in the bathtub. I just wash them by hand. A little bit of baby soap, and if there's like any stains or something, I'll agitate it with the brush. But yeah, I mean, some people ask, does denim get smelly? Well, yeah, everything gets smelly, but do you let it air dry overnight, or do you fold it back up and kind of hide it under something else? Well, I hang mine by the back belt loop.
The good thing is my shirts are already smelly, so you wouldn't be able to tell if it was the pants anyway.
And I spray Febreze a lot on a lot of my stuff. So
good thing is Angel hangs out in the garage most of the time working anyway. So
and I have no friends. All my friends are virtual. So. Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely by myself, and nobody can really tell me much in my own house.
Yeah.
Well, there's one.
Next time I see a fly buzzing around your head on one of your live streams, I'll know what's up.
Yeah. About that time.
It's like, man, he needs to wash them jeans.
Probably the jeans. But yeah. A couple of my friends were joking, like with the pandemic, a lot of people spending more time at home, and we started noticing like fades on the butt started like really to increase because a lot of people were
from sitting
around a lot. And so I'm still doing that. I'm still doing the pandemic thing. A lot of, I'm working from home now. I was working from home for my job and then quit my job, and I still work from home for myself. So
yeah, I'm working from home too. And, we'll go out to lunch every once in a while or something. Like this past weekend, we went to the bar, but we get our groceries delivered and everything. It's starting to make me feel lazy.
Yeah, this is so different, man. This is so like wild the way that we're doing things now. Like we order, like Walmart or Fry's, our grocery store. We a lot of times, like on every Tuesday or Thursday, we'll order, and then you do the pickup outside where they bring everything to you. Mm-hmm. And I tipped the gentleman $20 like 2 weeks ago because it was pouring rain, right? Pouring, like it was like monsoon rain. And I felt bad. The guy had no jacket on. And out here, I don't know, I guess everywhere, but rain's always kind of cold. So he's like coming out. We had like the largest thing of totes that he was bringing. This middle-aged gentleman, nice guy, and um, he started talking about like a raincoat. And my wife said, "Oh, they don't get you guys raincoats." And he's like, "Yeah, but they have like 3 of them, and we have to share them." I was like, "Oh man, that's kind of crappy." He's like, "Oh, they're these like the ones you throw away, the little ponchos that you get,
Yeah.
The ball field.
plastic ones." Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, and we have to share them." He's like, I'm like, "Really? They won't?" So my wife and I, let's just give him $20. And he's like, "No, I can't accept it." I was like, "Look, this is for the lack of safety equipment that they're providing you with. You know, go get yourself a freaking shirt from inside or a jacket from inside." But
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. That was the first time I did that.
And we we order from Walmart quite a bit, but we actually have them deliver it to the house, and they just leave it on the front porch. And
I didn't know that they did that.
half the
that
time
like,
I'll meet them there and bring it in them, but other times, we'll just let them leave it on the porch, and then I bring it in. It's pretty convenient. Only problem is a lot of stuff gets messed up. Like things you paid for don't show up, or a lot of times I'll end up with somebody else's stuff mixed in with mine, and
oh man.
but I don't
It's up
know.
to the
My
guy's
wife and I
shop.
just hate going to the grocery store, so we deal with it.
I had a pizza once get delivered, and a nice lady, and she walked up and she was the quickest handoff ever. Like, we paid online, so she just took it and left. Like, and we're like, "Okay, thanks." So we go to open the box. There was like 2 boxes, and one of them, everything was just like on one end, like all the cheese was melted to one side, and I'm like, "What happened?" So we called, and I was kind of pissed because I'm like, "Man, she knows what happened. Either she left, it fell in the car and was like sitting like this on the way, or she fell or dropped them or something." But she tried to play dumb, and I wasn't feeling it, but we still tipped her.
Nobody wants to eat the
it's
skin
just
side. I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. But we kept the other. They let us keep the other one, which was cool. But
I used to deliver for Domino's, and I'll never forget one night. It was iced over here. Here in Dallas, anyway, we don't get snow. We get ice, an inch thick on the roads. And everybody orders pizza when it's like that. So we're out there white knuckling it, and I pull up in front of this house, and I get out, and the sidewalk is just solid ice, right? And I've got this pizza, and man, I'm taking steps, an inch at a time, and all of a sudden my feet go like this, and it was in slow motion, but that pizza box just starts doing this, probably 10 feet in the air, and just slams face down.
oh,
And I went up to the front. I'm like, "Man, I am sorry, and I'll get you another pizza if you want." And they were real nice. They said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I understand," but it was the worst. Oh,
kind of embarrassing.
he was really nice, though.
There's nothing more humbling than either falling or doing something like that right in front of a complete stranger. Right?
Yeah.
You turn into the instant, like, nicest person ever. I actually enjoy falling in front of people because it's like, it gives me a reason to laugh at myself.
Hey, it's
I
a
think
good icebreaker.
it's good. What's that?
It's a good icebreaker if you're trying to talk to
Yeah,
somebody.
absolutely. I think it's good for people to laugh at themselves. Like, it should be okay for you to laugh at yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you take yourself too serious, where you can't be seen doing anything wrong, you should be able to laugh at yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I do some of the stupidest shit ever. And my wife tells me about it all the time.
Okay, I keep forgetting to say this, but what do we got? 16 viewers. Lone Star. Okay, so Nick has a discount code that is available on my site, and it's 10% off.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe there's still 7 of those spots left. Jeremiah. Okay, so Lone Star is, I think it's Lone Star 10.
Yes.
Okay,
And that's in the
10,
description of this also.
all caps. There's 7 slots left for him. It's 10% off, and it's not off of one product. It's your whole order. So if you order more than one thing, it's 10 off your whole complete total of your cart. And Jeremiah Craig has JC10, and I believe he has 1 left. If at 1 or 2 left. But take advantage of those guys. You might even be able to stack them. I don't know. Give it a try. See what it does. But just wanted to throw that in there.
Yep.
Secondly, Lucas, I want to thank you. You've been incredibly supportive to me in the beginning of my my first. I'm only 6 months in business for myself. I want to thank you tremendously from the bottom of my heart. To be able to support my family, it means the world to me. So I appreciate you. Supporting small business. It seems to be more common now, and people are talking about it more often. But I want to thank you, man. You've been incredible, and you've been a big part of the reason for my, I guess you could say, success. So thank you, Lucas. I really appreciate that, brother.
Hey, much appreciated, man. I appreciate you saying that. I love the products, dude. I mean, it's quality. I know where it's coming from. We have this relationship going.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wearing.
It's always a bonus anytime I can.
Feather.
Yeah. That's the blue feather, right?
It's a
or the hat band is blue.
Yeah, and the feather is like the Fornito color.
Okay, so the brown. Okay.
Yeah, with the blue hat
color
band,
right there.
Which looks really cool. It doesn't come through that much, but it looks really cool on this light colored hat.
They probably aren't showing up, but both mine are sitting back there, both with hat bands.
Yes.
I got my black Stetson's got the olive hat band on it, and then the the leather Outback style has the natural rough out.
So that's a leather, like a single layer of leather hat.
Yeah. It's 100% just leather hat.
Is it pretty thick or is it
pretty thick? Yeah, it's decently heavy. It's definitely a winter hat. Fall to spring type thing.
Right. Yeah.
It was. I can't remember. I can't remember the name on it without grabbing, but it's something Brothers. But yeah, it was bought in a little shop in Indiana somewhere. We were doing something, and it was just this leather shop. All they sold was leather goods, and they had some hats in there. And my dad's the one that got it. It's 10 or 15 years old, and he ended up giving it to me. And it had, I don't know, it almost had like concho Western style band on it. Brass.
Yeah, you showed me the original hat band that came with it.
I was digging that rough out, so that's what's on there now. So
yeah,
you got to give it some sun, man. Give it some sun.
It's gotten a little bit, but it's hard to come by up here right now.
I know, you got to set up a UV light or something.
But yeah, between that and a couple belts and the restyle kits, I mean, it's all quality product, dude. I appreciate what you put out, man.
I appreciate you, man. And I was gonna say, it's always a bonus anytime like I can cultivate or kind of start a relationship. I'd like to have a relationship, first, and then you kind of learn about my products. But it's always good to have like a relationship started off on just talking about my products or something like that, and kind of cultivate a relationship based on it, because we're friends now. We talk every few days now.
Oh yeah.
That's always a bonus for me. So
yeah, I've got quite a few in this small community that I try to pick up quality stuff from. And
it's good though. It's good because it's and I'm glad, because a lot of people are getting more used to hearing shop small and support small businesses, which is it's awesome.
The only thing I got to get now is Lone Star Tea, at least. I mean, I gotta.
There you go.
I was gonna talk to you about that, man. I gotta get one of those, or even put a little Texas flag right here for me.
Yeah,
I'll pick one.
Let's see, Roberto Romero. Can you elaborate on that question? Can you describe some of the differences of the belts? Most of my belts are well, all of my belts are a simple design. Um, it's utilitarian first. It's got to be able to last. A good belt should be an heirloom product. You should be able to pass it on to your children. You know, it's something that should last. And there's a few. I've got a few different colors. I think like 10 different colors or something. Uh, all different thicknesses. I like a nice thick belt, but some people like a little bit thinner weight leather. So elaborate on your question a little bit more, please. Oh, Blake is here. Where's he at?
Yeah, the rough out belt I got's pretty thick, which is nice.
Yeah, that
Coming
was.
from Hank's belts, I mean, that one's just as thick as what I've got from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
then,
Hank's. I made a post, or was it last Thursday or Friday? I made a post. It was my Hank's belt. It was the 100 years belts. That's like a certain line.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I got the everyday belt, and that belt is still in such good condition because that leather, that hide, it's good quality. And so that was like my what's the word I'm looking for? Like that was the level of quality I wanted to enter at, was something that's going to last as long as these here. So,
and then right now, I mean, the Hondo is just getting it's getting all the play right now because I got the sight on a lot.
Yeah, nice.
That matches that brighter perfect.
I can't if I ever get my hands on that leather again, the Hondo is definitely coming back. So, I use vegetable tan cowhide. I've like these here. This is a limited release. This is actually a chrome tan leather. This is like a gravel gray. This is only a 1.2 inch width, so it's a little bit more narrow. This is more for like a business casual or unisex. You know, females can wear this. You know, very easily every day. This is the only chrome tan I've ever done, though. Everything else I do is vegetable tan. I really like the properties that vegetable tan leather has when it patinas with you know, like sun exposure or heat. You know, your body heat or your bodily oils or whatever it is. The leather changes quite a bit more than chrome tan leather. Chrome tan leather is usually dyed all the way through, though, most of the time. So, but vegetable tan leather, I am actually working on my first custom belt, and it's not really in the same realm as like a custom boot where you get your stitching, your stitching color, your heel height, and all that stuff. This is literally just a new design. I'm getting the opportunity to kind of work on, you know, use my own creativity to build something, and it's actually for Nathan Lundy. So
nice.
And if there's any boot wearers out there, lace up style, you know, don't forget to hit up the kilties.
Yes, the reboot kits. So the reboot kits, that's a false tongue, and that is a collaboration between myself, my good friend Brian Hawkins, who's aka Boot Hunter on Instagram, as well as Pisgah Laces.
Ryan.
Ryan Ryan Costello out of North Carolina, U.S. Army vet. He makes military grade paracord laces. And from all the paracord lace brands, his quality just seems to be just slight notch up above the competitors. So lifetime warranty with those laces. So you get a reboot kit that comes with a false tongue. They come in olive like he has. They come in navy, and they come in a russet color, which is almost like a natural vegetable tan color. And you also get a pair of laces as well from Pisgah range, they're the toughest damn laces, period. That's his motto, toughest laces, period. So
I've got the navy kit also, and
that's right, you do.
I've got 6 pairs of Redwings, and I think I'm up to about 12 pairs of Pisgahs right now on the laces. So.
Okay, you're working your way up there. I got a whole box full of Pisgahs. I was buying like 3 a week for like the longest time.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. So I can mix and match as I need to.
Wallets. Yeesh. Wallets. I haven't gotten into stitching yet. I'm not afraid of it. I grew is weird because I'm not like humongous. I'm a one person operation, but I've grown to the point where I'm sitting on 12 orders right now that need to be filled. And my process takes about, 2 to 3 hours per belt. So I'm getting about 3 products done per day, sometimes 2, depending on what it is. But a wallet is definitely something that you gotta take. It takes practice to get good at your stitch setting and stuff like that. Learning to use a small stitch pony. Definitely not afraid of it. I definitely think I could do a nice job on wallets, but just haven't gotten around to it yet. So definitely thinking about that, and suspenders as well. Suspenders.
And one thing on the wallets, and I've got one. I've got a couple from a couple different leather places, and I like what you're doing is a little different. To me, everywhere I look, I can find the leather people on that. I mean, it's the first thing they have is wallets. And I understand people collect wallets just like they do everything else, but the hat bands, the feathers, the kilties, not to mention the belts, obviously. But
Right.
I appreciate you doing, something totally different. And
Yeah, it's just a different spin from a different vantage point, So I appreciate the feedback, wallets are definitely something I'm thinking about considering for sure. So maybe this year, who knows? For sure. Like I said, suspenders, that was something that was like that when I started making those reboot kits of the false tones, that was the other thing that I wanted to introduce was the suspenders. So I also had an idea to do. Oh gosh, sorry, that was a little water burp. Those are weird. So being a type 1 diabetic, I use 2 types of insulins, and I have my glucometer, my glucose meter. And so I keep a little bag, like a little, little satchel type thing, a little zipper. And it's insulated to keep like an ice pack if you need it. But I was thinking about making one out of leather, either with a zipper or some kind of like snaps to secure it and close it. And but that's just something else, because what I use now, it's like it's what's the like a Cordura type of textile, and it gets the job done, but it doesn't look nice. So little stuff like that. I definitely want to introduce different kinds of products. I don't consider myself a master of my craft at all, but I do like to try something new, and definitely not flood the marketplace with the same of just from a different person. So I can guarantee you, if I do bring a product that's, obviously I'm not reinventing the belt, but it's different from other brands. Whatever I do introduce, it will be different, because that's just me. That's my personality. So watch bands, I've definitely been getting a lot of inquiries about watch bands. The watch band that I would want to do, it's going to also require just a few stitches, but NATO straps, something I want to get into. So yeah, I'm not really into watches. I'm a G-Shock man, rubber.
All right. Well, guys, I am sorry, but I'm going to have to cut this off because I got to get ready for bed. And we're at 2 hours now. So I think this is the longest stream we've done. But Lucas, thank you so much for joining us. Angel, it was great as always.
Yeah, thank you, Lucas, for joining us. That was a lot of fun talking about something different than just plain old cowboy boots, Yeah. And I know there's a lot of guys that are just into both as well,
Yeah. I appreciate you having me on. Like I said, I would have been watching anyway. So
right.
Yeah, well, we'll need to get you on again, in the near future.
I'm game for anything. You need to fill a spot, let me know.
There's probably so much misinformation that's been spread because we didn't have Lucas to double check facts.
That's right. That's right.
So we apologize in advance.
Well,
we set the record straight though.
Over half the time I was the one talking anyway, so it's pretty much coming out pretty good. So
yeah. Now, I honestly want to see. I want to see more guys talking about both. I think that's really cool to see guys talking about both kinds of boots because they're two different worlds. But I don't think it's right that we, what do you call it? You associate a certain boot with a certain type of person,
right?
So I think it's good that we kind of round out our footwear and have different kinds of boots, not just one category. Obviously, we have our preference, but
yeah.
I think it's good to have this dialogue. It's good. It rounds out the community, kind of, it's more inclusive to everybody. So,
but with that, if you're talking toe bugs, unless you're getting into a packer, we pretty much, most people are thinking it's cowboy boots.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway.
True.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Hey, thank all of you in the chat. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't chat with everybody. But.
Yeah, we'll be back next week, next Tuesday at 7:00 Central Time.
Yep.
So anyways, thank you, and we'll see you then.
Stay warm. Stay safe, guys.
Bye. All right, well, that went really well. That was fun.